What's cracking, YouTube? What's cracking, big dogs? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the HQ. This is BDGE Fantasy Football. I am Nicholas. This is a private live stream that I do for my Patreons only. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you are probably watching the rerun of it. And in order to become a Patreon, in order to join this live stream and ask me any questions relevant to your fantasy team or your life, whatever, you got to go over to patreon.com/BDGE. I will link that down below in the description so you can sign up for the Patreon package, which gets you access to private live streams. It gets you my weekly rankings, both throughout the summer for Dynasty and throughout the regular season. I will be doing private weekly live streams throughout the regular season, all season long. What up, Stuart? What up, Vatch? You know what? I was really excited for morning. How we doing, everybody? How we feeling? We living? How's our weekends going so far? Anyone do anything cool? Anyone got some good plans? I was really close to going to like a fucking rave last night. I'm really happy I didn't because I would be hurting today. What up, Jason? How we doing? Hit me with some cues. Hit me with some fucking questions. Make sure if you're in here, you hit that thumbs up button. My man Ryan finally gets in these private live streams, man. It's about time. I miss your ass. I'm at work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I'm going deep sea fishing Monday. Bruh. How you going to work the entire weekend? I can't do deep sea fishing, bro. I get fucking sick every time I go deep out on a boat. I mean, in theory, I like the idea, but I'm just a little bitch. 80 hours a week, swing shift, had to set an alarm for this. God damn, my bad. I wish I could do it like I can't do it later in the afternoon on Saturdays because I probably won't be around for most of the time. What it do, baby? What up, Cody? Throughout the actual week, I'll probably do them. Actually, I'll probably do them on Saturdays still. Last year, I did them on Wednesdays, but when I do them at night, I don't have any energy. I could tell that like the energy that I have throughout the day, like these live streams are so much better than when I try to do that at night because I just want to pass away. Only work 3 days a week, 3 hour, 14. Oh, are you a cop? I feel like cops usually have that type of schedule. Maybe you have my schedule. I only work 1 day a week. And it's for like 3 hours. What do you think of AB Meltdown? Yo, I don't know. I think he'll be back on the field, but like, I wouldn't have sold him. I would have held on to him just to see what's going on. But that sounds fucking like a miserable time out there in Oakland, right? You traded for him, you signed the extension with him. Seems like it was all good. There's got to be more behind the scenes to this. Like he's not just crazy. I saw someone tweet out an interesting, like that interview that he did with someone in his house where he was talking about, he's like, I could walk away from the game and it wouldn't matter to me. He's like, I've already left my legacy. He's like, I'm already a legend. I already made over $100 million. He don't really care about the money. So, I mean, it's possible that AB is just that big of a, I don't want to say a prick because I'm sure he's a nice guy, but, you know, he's that proud or he just doesn't give a fuck that to that level. Like, that's going to be me one day. I got ESPN offering me all types of money, and I'm like, fuck y'all. I don't care. I'll sleep on my couch until I'm fucking 51 years old. I'm a CNC operator for an aerospace manufacturer. That is the lightest flex I've ever heard. I don't know what a CNC operator means, but I assume an aerospace manufacturer is pretty intense. You said you don't like your team as much drafting a tight end first 2 rounds, but you got Kelsey ranked 11 in PPR. Should I not pull the trigger in the first? I mean, listen, there's value, and then there's where I would take guys. So if I was saying I don't want to take, you know, one of these guys in the first 3 rounds, it doesn't mean I'm going to rank Kelsey in the 4th round because obviously the value that he gives you is great. But I'm just looking at the makeup of the team overall. You're really going to hurt yourself at running back if you go with a tight end in one of the first 3 picks. Because once you get to rounds 4, 5, 6, there are not a lot of running backs you could trust compared to the guys that you get, where you would get Kelsey. On the flip side, though, like you could still get a Hunter Henry or an Evan Ingram and feel pretty good about that in the 5th or 6th round. So listen, in PPR, like I'm fine with Kelsey there, but I would much rather take my chances on him landing to me in the 2nd. And then if he doesn't, it's not that big of a deal because you could pivot and go with a running back or a wide receiver. In full PPR, though, I will say I'm okay with going wide receiver back to back. Bike to bike, because they score a shitload of points. I feel like it might be a defense mechanism because he's upset and scared he can't play because of his feet. I don't think that's really it. There have been plenty of doctors that have seen the pictures of the feet and know what he's dealing with. And everything I've seen is pretty much like a 1 to 2, 3 week max timetable. So unless he's just doing that for like the next 3 weeks because he's embarrassed, I don't think he would have fucking posted the pictures of his feet if he were embarrassed. He would have just kept it as like a foot issue or something. Like, I would be surprised if he really sits out into the season. It's not like he's in a fucking contract demand where he's trying to sit out to get more money. There's literally no reason for him to do this. How do you feel about our boy Kiki? Heard his injury isn't major, but are you worried about Duke Johnson? So I'm completely fine with Kiki prior to the injury. Like Duke Johnson coming in, I wasn't really that concerned about Kiki's target share. Now the injury is obviously concerning. It looked like he tore his ACL on the play, but yeah, we've since heard that it's not as major of an injury to him. That being said, though, the early mid-August injuries are a huge concern because the timetable usually puts them back like right by the beginning of the season, and if they're not ready, they're going to push themselves for that week 1 game, probably put themselves in a bad situation. So until we have more details, I can't really speak on Kiki, but from a just a talent and opportunity standpoint, I'm not really worried about Duke Johnson coming in there and taking a lot of work. My other league, 12-team keeper, full PPR. Keep Thielen with 7th round or use an 8th for Godwin or Boyd. I would take Thielen there. I would definitely keep Thielen there. PPR stud. Him and Cousins, a connection. I mean, he's still awesome, still very good. He's in a full tier, if not 2 tiers ahead of Godwin or Boyd. So I'll lose the round, but take Adam Thielen there in the PPR for sure. Vic Tefu, who's verified on Twitter, said the Raiders believe AB will show up to Napa in a couple days. The Raiders have been in contact with Brown and has been sending him different helmets. Tweeted an hour ago. Good update, Codeine. You are not slow today. You are not on the Codeine. I respect you. I respect your Saturday hustle. Like I said, I hadn't seen that report, but like I said, if I had to put money on it, I would assume AB is going to be bike on the team sooner rather than later. Who do you like more long-term dynasty, Demont or James Conner? If I'm taking it straight up, I'm definitely taking James Conner. What's your review on Michael Gallup? He's been getting a lot of rave from Dak. I haven't seen anything about that, to be honest. I don't know. He showed well down the stretch last year. If Zeke actually holds out, I think they're going to be a lot more pass heavy, so he could be a sneaky late round pickup. I still don't think they're going to warrant enough passing volume to really hold value in multiple pass catchers. Like, it's going to be the running backs, whoever that is. It's going to be Dak through his legs. It's going to be Amari Cooper. But I don't see Michael Gallup really, at best, maybe cracking like the top 36 wide receivers. For any of you guys that have the draft guide, you know how I'm updating the Big Dogs Bible after each preseason week. I got through about 9 or 10 games of week 1 preseason and giving my thoughts on like players and who's moving up and down in the rankings. So that article is about halfway through. Obviously, there's 3 more games tonight, I believe. So if you want to go catch up on a lot of the thoughts of like the first 9 games that were played so far, my thoughts will be in there in pretty deep depth and pretty deep depth. I don't know if that's a fucking thing, if I'm making that up. 14th round is where I've been picking him up, so there's 0. Yeah, I'm fine with. I have some Michael Gallup shares definitely around the 14th, 15th round in best ball drafts. I don't think he's a great season-long option because I don't think you're going to get real consistency over him. You have A-Rob over Jarvis. How close are they in your projected outlook? I don't do projections. So like where you see them in my rankings is how close they are. I don't really know how to get more in depth on that. I own Ito Smith, but would you pick up Hill or Allison also because we know that Freeman will get hurt at some point? Yeah, dude, I'm on the Brian Hill train. I don't know if you just saw what I tweeted out a couple minutes ago, but through 2 games, I would absolutely. I think Brian Hill is going to take that running back 2 role over Ito Smith in Atlanta. How's your Saturday going? Thank you, Dylan. Thank you for asking me how my day is going. caring about me. My day is good. I've just been writing up the preseason, the week 1 outlook pretty much all morning. So I've been busy with that. After this live stream, I'm going to hit the gym, and then I'm driving down to Jersey, to Montclair, to stay at Steve's new apartment. So we're going out there in New Jersey tonight, and then I'll be back in Brooklyn Sunday, and then back to New Jersey to film, bike to New Jersey to film Fade the Public. We're filming our E-Town Get Down League meeting on Monday night. So I'll be doing a lot of traveling over the next couple of days. What are you looking at for the preseason games? What are you watching for and noting? For me, the week 1 is tough. There's not a ton of takeaways, only because like half of the league starting quarterbacks don't play. So you don't actually know, which running backs or which wide receivers are taking the first team snaps. But that is the main thing I look at, is how are the snaps divvied up between backfields and wide receivers when the starting quarterback is on the field. But that's hard. Week 1 is tough because they almost never play rookie running backs over veterans. Like you saw Devin Singletary sit behind Frank Gore. You saw Miles Sanders sit behind Jordan Howard. You saw David Montgomery sit behind Mike Davis. But by the time we hit week 3, that's when we get like the rehearsal, and that's when we get the real dig into where guys are in the lineup. So I'm always looking at snap counts when it comes to the first team. And that's like the biggest takeaway. I never really look at box scores, but I like to see who's getting the actual play time with the starters on the field. For the 3 games going tonight, we have Bengals Chiefs. I want to see AJ Green's obviously out. I'm assuming John Ross is out because he's been out with a hamstring. I don't think he's playing tonight. So I want to see who operates and who takes his snaps with Dalton in the first team outside of Tyler Boyd. I want to see if Gio mixes in with the first team on that first drive, and if Mixon is like the fully featured back. They said Patrick Mahomes will be playing for the entire first quarter, which is awesome because we'll get to see what's happening in that backfield, because Damian Williams came back from practice, but we don't actually know if he's like full health, if it's a running back by committee there. What I think is going to happen is they're going to use a committee off the bat. I don't think Damian Williams is like fully ready to take a workload yet because of the hamstring. People are going to go nuts about it. Like Carlos Hyde, I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos Hyde actually got the start tonight. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I think all this talk from Andy Reid about the running back by committee, all summer they talked about how it was Damian Williams' job to lose. There's no doubt about it. And then all of a sudden, Reid got pissed, said those things. I think it's a motivation thing. I don't think it's a real I don't think that's really how he feels. I think he's trying to motivate Damian Williams. So I think we're going to see a running back by committee tonight. People are going to blow up and go nuts. Damian Williams' ADP is going to shoot down to like the 4th, possibly even 5th round. Hydes will shoot up to the 7th or 8th, and I think Damian will become a really good value. If I had to predict with my fucking beautiful mind, that's what I think will happen. Also really intrigued to see what happens with the wide receivers in Kansas City, who gets targeted from Mahomes behind Tyreek Hill. Rams backfield for sure. I'm assuming Gurley's not playing tonight, so how do they split up the carries between Henderson and Malcolm Brown? Does Cooper Kupp play at all? Probably not. Oakland Raiders, is Jacobs involved in the passing game? Is he even the starter? Cowboys, 49ers. What's going on with that wide receiver group in San Fran? A lot of nonsense. What's your preferred strategy, 0 RB or 0 wide receiver, if you were to use one in any big leagues? Depends where I'm drafting from. If you were doing the E-Town draft right now, where would you take Zeke? Probably in the 2nd round, Jared. I probably wouldn't use my 1st round pick on him. Thoughts on Gurley versus Chubb this year? Yeah, it's not really a debate for me. It's Chubb over Gurley 11 out of 10 times. How do you like Hard Knocks? Also, where's the mason jar? Hard Knocks, the first episode sucked. Actually, the mason jar is holding up my webcam right now. It's underneath it. I'll show you. So you guys are on there. I got like 19 mason jars in here, though. We always fucking come correct, boy. Hard Knocks with Oakland Raiders, or All or Nothing with the Carolina Panthers? I actually enjoy All or Nothing a lot more because it's kind of cool because it's in season. So you get to see what happens throughout the course of the season. You also kind of know what happens. So it's funny when you're watching shit in like week 2 or week 3, the Panthers are all hyped about their team, but you know shit's about to plummet real quick. So I really enjoyed All or Nothing. I like both of them, obviously. Hard Knocks is fun because it's actually what's going on right now, so you get to kind of be in tune with it. I'm also really excited that Hard Knocks is in Oakland because anytime players are on Hard Knocks, their ADP automatically shoots up, which means Josh Jacobs' ADP is going to shoot up. Derek Carr is going to shoot up. So people will keep continuously taking them early, and love that. By the way, with being forced to work so much, I haven't had time to do my own research this year. Your videos are saving my ass this year. That's what we're here for, Jason. That's what they pay me the big bucks. Justice Hill, Matt Breida, Devin Singletary, who's the most undervalued based on their similar ADP? So definitely Matt Breida for me is the clear RB1 there out of those three. I like Justice Hill. I like Devin Singletary. But I think the temper for Justice Hill needs to pull back a little bit. I actually just wrote about him in the Bible. Justice Hill was the third running back on the field for Baltimore. He didn't get in until Trace McSorley was the quarterback. Mark Ingram did not suit up. Gus Edwards got the start. Then Kenneth Dixon. Then Trace McSorley went in. And then Justice Hill got on the field. He did not get a single carry. He looked good, though. He looked good in the passing game. He caught 2 balls for, I think it was 16 yards. He looked explosive. He looked elusive. But we're going to have to see him in weeks 2 and weeks 3 get some run with the first team. If he's still only taking snaps with the second team, that gives you an idea of where he is in the pecking order. And despite you liking his athleticism and how much I've hyped him this summer, you got to be objective with this shit and realize that if Justice Hill is really the third guy in the pecking order and he's only taking snaps with the 2s, he's a long way away from really being fantasy relevant. But I love Matt Breida. D. Will is dead. Hyde season. Max, did you join after or before me talking about Williams? Would someone like Latavius Murray be okay as my RB2, or should I get a second one earlier? I mean, I would definitely prefer to have a second RB earlier and have Latavius as like the flex or a backup running back, but you could probably do worse than Latavius. Mason Jar got the team on its bike. Big fact. Sorry if that screaming just absolutely destroyed your ear. Did you watch the Denver game? What do you think of Locke? I didn't watch. Normally in the preseason, I don't watch too far into like the second string or third string players unless there's a running back that I'm looking to kind of like decipher and see how he's looking. So I didn't actually watch too much of Denver's game. All I wanted to see was the backfields for Denver and Seattle. And as we kind of projected, it was definitely a split, and they're kind of in a committee on both sides. So I didn't really see Drew Lock. Maybe I'll go back and watch more. Which undrafted free agents intrigue you for fantasy purposes this season? Man, Preston Williams looked really fucking good out in Miami. I can't really think of who was exactly undrafted and who were like 5th, 6th, 7th round picks off the top of my head right now. If you give me some options, I'll tell you whether or not I like them, though. I have to say, as a first-time buyer, the guide, I freaking love your work, man. The Bible is fresh. I appreciate that. A lot of hard work goes into that. So I'm glad that you enjoyed it, man. If I were to draft Chris Carson as my RB2, is Penny a must draft? Probably not. If I'm drafting a Seattle backfield, someone in the Seattle backfield, I'm choosing one or the other and taking my chances on it. I'm not using my 5th and 7th or 5th and 6th round pick on one backfield. I like where Carson is at, but I still am nervous about the injuries, and I'd still take Penny a round or two later. So if I grab Chubb end of first, early second, do you recommend cuffing him with Hunt later on? No. Kareem Hunt needs to be off your season-long draft boards. Do not draft Kareem Hunt knowing that he's going to be out for 8-10 weeks. Please don't. Do yourselves a favor. Damian Hilliard is going to be a big waiver wire pickup in that Cleveland backfield this year. I tweeted out as soon as Duke Johnson got traded that Hilliard was the dynasty pickup. Hilliard got run with Baker on the field immediately in that preseason game. With Chubb, Hilliard caught 2 passes on that first drive of Baker. He is going to be the passing down back in this backfield. Hilliard is a must-own guy in dynasty, and he's probably going to end up being a pretty good late-round pick in season-long drafts. What's your hype level of Devin Singletary? Super explosive. Yeah, he didn't look that explosive in the first preseason game. He ran well. I mean, he did exactly what we thought he was as a prospect. He was super elusive. He was putting fucking guys on ice skates. But it wasn't necessarily explosive. That's definitely not his game. I mean, they had Frank Gore running exclusively with the 1. Singletary got in for like maybe 2 of the snaps. LaShawn McCoy wasn't playing. I'm pretty sure it's going to go the opposite. LaShawn McCoy will get the run with the 1s next week. Frank Gore will probably sit. What's going to be really big is that week 3 dress rehearsal. So we'll know how they feel about McCoy. We'll know how they feel about Frank Gore. TJ Yeldon will probably be cut by then. Shout out to Animal. And we'll see if Devin Singletary is really mixing in with the ones or not. At this point, Josh Allen, in my opinion, kind of looked like shit in that first game. He was overthrowing all of his deep wide receivers, still throwing it deep too often and very inaccurately. So I'm a little bit nervous about him as a quarterback. I'm a little bit nervous about him as someone who's going to take this offense to the next level. So that obviously hinders the production of the running back. So I like Singletary. I'm not absolutely in love with him yet, though. So I think week 3 for preseason is going to be a really big indicator on whether or not Singletary will be a good draft pick this year. I traded away Connor for Zeke to a guy in my league like a month ago, and he was super adamant about it. Now I think he knows Zeke personally and had inside information. Well, that's a fucking huge L by you then, Stuart. Crockett of Houston, you like? Yeah, I mean, I like Crockett. I think he could eventually eat into that early down work from Lamar Miller or on the goal line. I think it's going to be like a messy backfield that I don't really know if I'm going to own a lot of pieces of. In yesterday's draft, my mock draft I put up on my channel, I basically said, I was like, I don't want Lamar Miller in the 7th when I can get Duke Johnson in the 11th or 12th. Lamar Miller got drafted in the 7th, and then I was actually able to draft Duke Johnson in the 11th or 12th. So that's the approach I'm having right now. If the ADP start moving closer to where it's like Miller's an 8th round pick, Duke Johnson's an 8th or 9th round pick, I will likely be staying away from that backfield. Barnes of Titans, you like? No, fuck no. I hate Alex Barnes. I think he's horrible. I think he's a really bad running back. He's like 225, but he runs like he's 175 pounds. Plus, he didn't get any run in the preseason game while Derrick Henry was hurt. Jeremy McNichols is probably the stash there. Would you rather have Mike Evans in a somewhat crowded wide receiver room with Godwin and O.J. Howard or Hilton with a healthy Andrew Luck straight up? So you're just asking me in my rankings, would I rather have Evans or Hilton? It would be Mike Evans. If I get Gurley in the late 2nd, early 3rd as my RB2, should I go harder on bench running backs? Probably. I mean, I am not touching. There's no shot that I personally am drafting Gurley with one of my first 2 picks. I mean, we know the guy has arthritis. That's something that doesn't go away and is not going away no matter how much rest they give him. It's going to flame up at some point this season, and when it does, he's going to be a nightmare. I just can't put that much risk into a player that we know. You know, I'll say it again and again and again. Don't find injuries in fantasy football. Do not find injuries in fantasy football. They will find you. Don't draft guys that are hurt going into the season. We know how that shit ends. Trust in David Montgomery. I love him for real. Yeah, I like him. I mean, I already liked him. He was already like a top 20 back for me. This performance doesn't change anything. Doesn't need to be like a 2nd round pick now. There are still running back by committee concerns. Yeah, I like the guy, but I was already very high on him, so I'm not just going to continuously move him up. If in week 3, their rehearsal, he gets 90% of the snaps with the first team, yeah, I'll be really excited about it. But I'm not just moving him up because we saw a Twitter fucking clip of him after their preseason game. He did look very good, but I'm not like, people need to relax. I got questions asking, literally, is David Montgomery a 2nd round pick now? I'm fucking upset. I'm upset. Skirt. Being from New Jersey, how did you end up an Atlanta fan? I was like 11 years old at the time, I think, when Mike Vick came into the league, and he just like captured my attention. He's probably like the reason I follow the NFL now. I was just so intrigued by Michael Vick. He was so exciting. And then I became a Falcons fan when he was on the team. And then when he left, I just continued to be a Falcons fan. If you're a Zeke owner, who do you think is the handcuff to own? I have Pollard, but Morris is also a free agent. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Pollard. I think Pollard gets a really, really, really nice role in that backfield. Ever consider some free best balls for those of us in the States we can't bet money? I don't know. I've actually never – I don't even think I've ever done a free best ball draft. Do they have them? And if so, are you even allowed to do them if you can't do the regular drafts? I'll look into it, but no, I hadn't considered it. Maybe I'll consider it now, even though those shits will fill up in less than how fast they already fill up. N'Keal Harry keeps falling to me in these drafts with Gronk and Gordon out and the GOAT thrown to him. Is it possible he's undervalued? I mean, I was as high on N'Keal Harry as anyone. However, he limped off the field this game with some kind of injury, and he's going to miss practice time, they said. So That's something to monitor. You never want a rookie wide receiver missing time in the summer. It's really big for their development, especially gaining chemistry with a complex offense like the Patriots are. N'Keal Harry is – we'll see how much time he misses. But if he ends up missing, weeks 2 and weeks 3 of the preseason, like if he misses both of those games, it's going to be really hard to have faith in him, producing as a rookie this year. The other guy, obviously – to look at is Jacoby Myers, right? There's been a lot of hype around him, and then he balled out in their first preseason game. Obviously, it wasn't with Tom Brady, but they're saying him and Tom Brady have great chemistry. We'll have to see. I mean, if N'Keal Harry misses time, then yeah, Jacoby Myers is going to shoot up. We also, haven't seen Jacoby Myers on the field with Julian Edelman, so we don't know if his role gets completely scaled back or not. But Jacoby Myers is a must-own right now in Dynasty leagues for sure. Most diehard fans of any sports team becomes that as a youth. Fuck yeah, baby. Fist. If Olsen winds up playing the whole season, would he be a steal as a backup, or is he too old and irrelevant? I don't answer those questions like if he stays healthy the whole season. The reason I don't draft him is because I don't think he's going to stay healthy the whole season. So I don't project 16 games out of him. You can do free ones on DK, I know, but I don't know about draft. Probably as long as there's no money involved, then it's allowed here. Okay, probably. Odell or Juju standard scoring? That's tough. Standard, I'd probably take Odell. I think Juju will probably end up with a huge target total like he did last year. I think he caught 111 passes last year, so he's a PPR stud. I also think his touchdown totals are probably going to rise up too, but I think Odell – I actually think both of them have wide receiver 1 in fantasy football on their range of outcomes. I would probably take Odell straight up. Straight up. I actually started watching there's like another show on YouTube. It's called Building the Browns. It's kind of like All or Nothing or Hard Knocks, but it's been documenting the Browns since like the end of last season, which is pretty cool. I just got to the episode where they traded for Odell. Nah, in a standard, you can't go 0 running back. Those wide receivers lose a lot of value. Is Jalen Samuels this year's James White in fantasy football? No. What's your view on Antonio Callaway? Talented, but seems to have a lot of off-the-field issues. Yeah, so Antonio Callaway is going to miss the first 4 games of the season. He got suspended. Rashard Higgins, bro. It's Rashard Higgins' time out there in Cleveland. We will be pivoting our best ball shares, our 17th, 18th round best ball shares of Antonio Callaway over to Rashard Higgins. Guy balled out in that first game with Baker. He's been one of Matt Harmon's like top route runners in terms of reception perception. Rashard Higgins is a legit route runner, and now he's finally getting the opportunity in this offense. And Baker's going to make sure everybody eats out there. So let's pivot to Rashard Higgins over Antonio Callaway. Skirt. Oh, dude, the second to third rounds of this year's drafts are so fucking ugly right now. Like I'm sitting here at the 311, and my choices are Leonard Fournette. I went with 2 wide receivers off the rip. I went with Julio and Odell as my 111 and 2-2. And now I have to choose between Leonard Fournette, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Mark Ingram in the 3rd fucking round. I might take Pat Mahomes here at the end of the 3rd. Brandon Cooks is still on the board, but I don't want to start off with 3 wide receivers. Ugh, I'm definitely not reaching on Fournette here. I don't think I own a single share of Fournette, to be honest. This is tough, boys. I wish I went with Kelsey or Tyreek Hill, so at least I could feel good about Patrick Mahomes to get that stack. Fuck it. We're going to go with Brandon Cooks here. Where it's falling in draft, 11th pick. If I want an RB in the 2nd, it's looking like Cook or Mixon. Should I go wide receiver? Yeah, I don't hate that. I've been mixing it up in those. Sometimes I go with wide receiver. I'm more likely to do that in best ball because you could always stack up 6 or 7 running backs, right? And it plays the best ones automatically. In season long, I'm probably looking for one of those running backs, though. Get Jacobs. Yeah, there's no shot on taking Josh Jacobs in the 3rd round of any draft. And I refuse to take Montgomery right now in the 3rd round. That's correct. Fournette will never, ever stay healthy. Oh, boy. How we living? What are y'all doing tonight? Anyone got any good plans? Hey, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We got 13 people in here, only 2 thumbs up. Level of disrespect right now is fucking outrageous. I'm about to start taking fucking kickers in fucking the 3rd round of drafts. At least they're going to guarantee me points. Real mature, guys. Goes up to 3 thumbs up buttons. In my opinion, you have to reach Mixon, Chubb, or Cook to avoid that situation. Yeah, probably. Also, for those of y'all that are listening again, if you want to be in the live stream, you could do so by becoming a patron, patreon.com/BDGE. You'll get access to these private live streams, and I'll answer all your questions, as you could see. You also get my draft rankings, my dynasty rankings, my in-season draft rankings. So you can go check that out, patreon.com/BDGE. If you get the 10th and don't like your options, would you take a top 2 defense or never take defense early? No, absolutely not. Defense is a second to last round pick for me every single time, depending on who is the week 1 matchups. Dallas at home versus the New York Giants week 1. Smash that every draft. Get Kittle in the 3rd. What's Monday's video? Breakout wide receivers. Got someone chopping that up for me right now. Hey, there's Wade. Wade, where the fuck you been, bruh? Where the fuck you been? Yeah, we talked about Preston Williams, bro. He looks like the truth. And the funny part about it is, like, you look at that Miami receiving core, right? Devontae Parker, it's funny because, again, he wishes it was fucking May right now. You haven't heard a goddamn thing about Devontae Parker since May, since they were playing in shorts. You have Kenny Stills, who's beefing with the front office right now, and I'm pretty sure they're going to end up, like, trading him. You have Albert Wilson, who hasn't fucking stepped on the field to do any team drills yet. Yet people think he's a good fucking best ball pick in like the 16th, 17th round. That's not even going to fucking play this year. Coming off a very serious injury, and he has not even participated in a single team drill yet. He's so far out from being 100%. Albert Wilson is not – he's not going to play for a long time. That literally leaves like Preston Williams as the wide receiver 1 just by default. Curtis Samuel season. Yeah, Curtis Samuel might be in that breakout wide receiver video. I'm trying to start a keeper league. Advice on settings and setup. I run it pretty much identical to a redraft league. We have it depends what your keeper league is. Like, if it's with your friends, like people that you're going to be drafting with in person, and draft night is really fun, I suggest not doing that many keepers. The way that we do it for our high stakes league, the E-Town Get Down, we all obviously draft together, so it's a really fun draft night. We do it that the player had to have been picked in the 10th round or later, and you can only keep 1 guy because we don't want to have draft night and have the 20 best options already off the board. That kind of makes the draft not a lot of fun. But if you're just doing it to win money and you're never going to actually see these guys, and you think you're ahead of the game in terms of drafting and you can hit on a lot of late round picks, then do it more keepers. I don't know. I tend to like, two keepers max because I like draft night more than anything else. Also, don't do any free agent. We don't do any waiver wire pickups are able to be kept. That's a setting that I think more people should do. Thanks for posting your vids at 5 a.m., bro. Absolutely necessary for those early morning commuters, for sure, bro. For sure, 5 a.m. every day. I love how people on the West Coast are always like, why are you putting them up so early? 5 a.m. every single day, Eastern time. For y'all commuters, baby. Go Dalvin Cook in the 3rd or Mike Evans. Ooh, wow. I'd go Dalvin Cook there. Can't believe he's falling to the 3rd. You see the Steve Smith video messing with the other wide receivers? No, I did not. I said it was funny in the All or Nothing series on the Panthers last year. He was like in the middle of practice. He was asking Cam Newton. He's like, "Should I start DJ Moore or not?" And DJ Moore was like right next to him listening. It was pretty funny. He's like, "He's not really a full wide receiver yet. He's more of like a weapon for you guys." PPR Samuels over Moore based on value at ADP. Based on value, yeah, I would go Samuels in the 8th or 9th over Moore in the 5th for sure. Straight up, I would go Moore though. Sup, big dog? Sup? Ho, ho, ho. Yannick, we're not on speaking terms right now because you wouldn't accept my trade. I'm still upset at you, so don't you dare fucking write another thing in this chat. Ew, you get up at 3 a.m. That's ridiculous. Skirt. All right, y'all. I'm about to head out in the next couple minutes. So if you have any more, everyone boo Yannick. Boo. If you have any more fantasy questions, NFL questions for me, get them in the next 60 seconds, and I will hit you with them again. If you're watching this on YouTube, patreon.com/BDGE is where you can sign up and fucking yell at me and boo Yannick in real time. Steve, I just deleted the fucking email you sent me by accident. Shit, I have to find that. Boo. What is the best sandwich ever? Chick-fil-A, #1. Thoughts on Jimmy GQ? Bro, that wide receiver group of Dante Pettis is now running with the 2s, and they expect Trent Taylor to be the wide receiver 1 there. Fuck that. I'm out. I'm out on Jimmy G. Anything more than a QB2 in a super flex league. I mean, like a cold sandwich, bro. A Chick-fil-A #1 leftover. Thoughts on Damian Harris, New England's backfield? Yeah, I think the hype is a little too fucking crazy right now. He's like an 8th or 9th round pick, which is way too fucking high for a guy we've literally never seen run in the NFL and is not even the starter. So those are my strong thoughts on it. We have to see him in preseason. He didn't play yet, so I think everyone needs to calm the fuck down about Damian Harris, though. Is Adam Gase a drug dealer, or does he just do drugs? Yeah, I mean, why do you think they fucking signed Le'Veon Bell? He's easily got the plug now. Thoughts on Crockett or Higdon? You already know the fucking answer to that question. Thanks for all the content insight. Got me hyped for Friends League. What round would you take Kyler Murray? In a 1-quarterback league, probably like the 8th or 9th round. In a super flex, probably 5th round-ish, around there. But it always depends on the board, who's on the board. I can't just give you a round. It never works like that. That's all we got for today's video. I love y'all for sticking around and asking me questions. Again, if you are new to the channel, subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. You can drop any comments down below. If you have any questions, I'll try to get around to all of them. You can sign up at patreon.com/BDGE if you want to get in the live stream, if you want my in-season weekly rankings, which I do not post anywhere else. I'm about to go enjoy the rest of my weekend and sip down 13 to 52 margaritas, as I always do. I hope you guys also enjoy your weekend. No, I'm not worried about Hunter Henry's return from ACL. He already returned last postseason, so he's fine. Love y'all. We out. Goodbye.